Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. Today we're here with another war video. This is going to be D69 versus PBT, or I think they're called Parade Battle Team. And going into this war, we are 4-3, so we're looking to get a few more wins. And I've got 2 deaths in the season with a 98% PSR. So we are going to, well, I don't know if I actually showed it there, but these guys actually did not place with the Stubborn Global. They placed with Protect. So I'm going to be taking full advantage of that, and I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4. No, just 3. There's 3 fights that you cannot take with Quake when there's the Stubborn Global that I'm going to be taking in this fight with her, or in this war with her. So yeah, we're just kind of abusing that a little bit, and I did plan this war, so it was a pretty easy war to plan, to be honest. Protect is just not that hard. I think we only died once in this battle group total, and it was to a Warlock, because I had the guy bring in Corvus because I figured that he would intercept or something, but in hindsight, yes, that was a ridiculous decision and completely my fault that he died. But yeah, we're going Path 7 Section 1 and then Path 7 Section 2 again, and we're taking this blade. So I have almost all of my Quake fights sped up this war just because there are so many of them. I think it was like unedited, I think it was 16 straight minutes of Quake fights. Well, not like straight, but 16 total minutes of Quake fights, and that's just not fun to watch. So yeah, this one with Blade on this node is like a 2-minute fight, and yeah, if the first fight in your war takes 2 minutes, it's just not fun. So yeah, Quake's doing well. The best counter for this Blade is there's 3 champions that counter it pretty easily, and those are in order of how good they are: Vision, Archangel, and then Warlock. If they only Warlock if they used Willpower though, and then because that fight does have Power Bond, but you still drain enough power that they won't reach anything crazy. But this is just Matador on the next node. They placed a long shot. Usually alliances this good go out of their way to make like weird combinations, but they just didn't do that this war. And this is just a very easy combination to Quake. So this is of course a Mystic Defender, and I'm not running Suicides this war because I have a Torch fight coming up, and obviously with Torch you can't be running Bleed Suicides, so, and I don't want to run Poison for boosting reasons. It drains your health faster. And now we have this Quake on Cold Turkey, Matador, and Power Drain, and I actually assigned myself this fight with Quake. But the thing is, Quake is actually a really annoying champion to use Quake against because the animation for her first medium attack and her second light are completely identical, which is really annoying. Mind you, they're only identical if you're in the corner. They look very different if you're not. But there, unfortunately, I had to throw an L1, so the 10% chance, which is actually 100% when Quake is a defender because of Kabam rules, it actually had a chance to stun me. So, got to throw the L1, unfortunately, even though it removes my infections. And there, she decides to just parry, or not parry, she decides to just block my heavy. And then there I thought Quake would get pushed back further, but in fact it was me that got pushed back a lot. I went for a little bit of a wild heavy there. Can't really explain my logic behind that one. But we throw an L1 and this girl goes down quite nicely. So we're going into this next fight, and I have 5 fights in Section 1, which is actually the maximum you can take because I took all 3 mini-bosses. But this fight is going to be Sasquatch on Power Snack, and there are other options besides Quake that, of course, work for this. The number 1 option, I think, is Magic, and with the number 2 being Torch, and then I think Quake is number 3. We've Quaked this fight before on Stubborn, so here I'm just trying to activate Dex, and there we go. But the thing is that Sasquatch is actually one of the minis in AQ, and he has Power Snack on him. So I'm very, very used to quaking Power Snack Sasquatch. So I just don't really see the logic behind placing a defender that everyone already knows the combination of, because they have to do it 10 times every week in Alliance Quest every time he's around. But yeah. Sometimes he does go stun immune when he's in his Wrath of Tanarak, but this is just full Quake style. You notice he's actually going to gain back 50% health, or 30% health right here. So he went from 41% to 71%, and that's just from the backup recovery because we prevented the power gain by holding heavy. It would not have been the world's biggest problem if we hadn't, because then we could have just baited out an L1 and returned to Quaking, but that's completely alright. So yeah, so just right there, I threw heavy by accident, but he was nice enough, and he actually threw an L1 to give me a chance to activate Dex again. And since it was so close, it didn't trigger buff Power Sack again, so I can just keep quaking. But 3 minutes in, he's only at 30%. That's just, that's slower than a boss kill. Because I think a thing boss with Void, like a rank 3 thing, takes 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And this fight is going to take significantly longer than that. So I think this fight takes almost a full 4 minutes, which is just insane. But I think he's going to die midway through our cycle right here. Or he's going to die at the end. He's going to die at the end. So, yeah. Full 3 minutes and 40 seconds, I think, or 50 seconds. Either way, almost a 4 minute fight is just not fun. So now we're going to go up against this Hyperion on Power Snack, on Mixed Master, Aggression Prowess. And we're going to throw on an Invulnerability boost, of course, because it is Hyperion. Now, they were very smart, and they placed all of this guy's defenders outside of Section 1, so it was not confirmed that this guy had willpower. But even if he didn't, we're Warlock, and that Invulnerability boost is enough. But with this node, basically what you're going to want to do is after specials get baited out, you're going to want to go in for slower combos, or like shortened combos with a medium light or medium light medium. And right there I went for a heavy attack to start power draining. But that's alright, it just didn't work out. And when we throw our L2 here, we're actually just going to absolutely drain this power so fast. It's amazing. Also, Hyperion is a champ that has a couple buffs. So right there, at the beginning of the fight or some point before now, I somehow activated Dexterity on him, which is just a little bit annoying, but not a big deal. But with his constant power gain, he's actually going to be lowering the time that infection's on him. So it's going to be a little harder to power drain him. But as long as we keep debuffs on, we're going to throw this L2 just to reset our infection. And he's down to 30% right here, and we're doing pretty well, so I can't really be too mad about this one. I don't think there's any game audio for this. It just didn't work well when I edited it. I'm not really sure why. But this guy's almost down. We threw another heavy. Luckily, at the beginning of the fight, I found out this guy did have willpower. But I would have easily won this fight without willpower. I would have just tanked a few L3s, and I would have been completely fine. I could have probably tanked 4 as long as he had no aggression prowess. Probably, because 3 from invulnerability and then a 4th one, more than likely. But now, of course, that's not what we want to do. So right now, we waited for my boost to fall off, and for me to get some energy so I could take this Sorcerer Supreme. I needed to clear the Sorcerer earlier rather than later because one of the guys was going to bed, so I just had to wait for enough energy. And so this guy's going to help me out with energy moving after this, because I need to clear all the way up to my link in this set of boosts, because I have 2 more mini bosses coming this war. So we're going to use our medium boost for this one. I'm not really too concerned about Sorcerer on this node. We did have a guy take this with rank 2 6-star Torch earlier this season, and he just played the fight really, really badly. Torch is by far the best counter. Magic is probably the second best counter to Sorcerer here. But it's just such an easy fight, and right from the bat, my first combo did 10% health on I'm not even baiting a special attack. Like, I don't need to. I literally do not need to bait a single special attack this entire fight. So we're going to just go in for an L2 here because of the power reserve. We're only going to lose 1 bar, so I'm going to do a little bit of a just one more combo. That's really all I needed, and it's going to push me to another L2, and I kill. So she died as she was getting to her L3, never threw off a special attack. There's just nothing about that fight, to be honest. But now we're going to be moving up to this domino, this rank 3 6-star domino that I've taken many times, and we're going to be taking it again. It's the exact same strategy with Warlock. It is just using vulnerability boost, which of course I put on for the last fight, just to be super extra safe in case that last L2 didn't kill. And she decided to throw for L3 because if you didn't know, Sorcerer behind Namor and Doom, I actually don't know the exact order, but I know that Namor and Doom are 2 of the other highest. She is one of the hardest hitting L3s in the game, and it's just pretty crazy how much damage it will do to you. But you also have the advantage of that working for you on attack. So, of course, we did check to see if this person placed with willpower, and they did. So I was able to take this fight pretty easily with Warlock. We're suffering a lot of the crit fail damage in this fight, but it's actually not that bad. You guys should see the when I took this guy in War 10, I think it was War 10. I fought it flawlessly, and I end with about 60% health. So you might be asking, how can you fight how can you do a fight, or fight a fight is actually correct, 2 different times, flawlessly both times, and end with double the health in one of them? And you guys will just, well, you'll end with double the health loss in one of them. But now, of course, this Ebony Maw, the normal counter to this Ebony Maw is a Human Torch. However, since there's no Stubborn, Quake is by far the best option. So if you have a proficient Quaker, this is the fight you want to send your Quake to. Or I guess Torch could definitely do this fight still. I think it would just be easier because Ebony Maw is not even a large defender. I think he's a medium defender. But this is just a very fast fight. So I think this is the only Quake fight I don't speed up. Right? Yeah, this must be the only. No, okay, there's 2 Quake fights I don't speed up. So right there I thought the heavy would kill, but we're just going to wait one more cycle because why not? I'm just not in a rush, really. So there we go. He actually dies right before the cycle. So, yeah. So that was a very easy fight, and now we're going to be waiting for this Wasp to go down. Shout out to Run for actually soloing his fights for maybe the first war ever. Yeah, we're taking Kinetic Transference Powerful from Afar Doom, and basically quaking this node with any global other than Stubborn is mimicking how to quake it without any global. So what I'm going to do is I've already got myself in the corner. So there is a trick with Quake where if you dash back after every time that Quake auto-evades, you're going to put yourself back in the corner faster. And with the way that Quake shuts down Powerful from Afar, she doesn't shut it down if the opponent is already too far away and then you start holding heavy. But she does shut it down if you're already holding heavy and then the opponent gets to a far enough distance away. So that was the strategy here. I was trying to look for videos of anyone quaking this node and I could not find it. So what I did is I just thought, like, I know how Quake counters Powerful from Afar because we have, of course, quaked the node on Path 7, Section 2, the first node. We've quaked defenders on that node before, of course, with Spite, because there's a way that if you time Spite correctly, you can completely... you can play deck style still, but you'll just cancel out Spite. But there's also another way where you can just play parry style or heavy only and counter Spite. So it's really only Powerful from Afar. And that's how I knew the way the power would work. So now we're going to go into this Dormammu. It's really, really nice finishing off my entire war only 9 hours in. But yeah, we're going to go for this recovery mini. Now, Quake is definitely the best option for this. Of course, with Quake, you can't take off Dex. And with other champs you can, and with Dormammu you don't want a Dex, but as long as the opponent has a concussion up, or as long as Dormammu does in this case, as long as Dormammu has a concussion up, when you lose your dexterity, you won't get degenerated. But yeah, I did speed up this fight as well. Now, I did decide to take a few fights, I decided to take a few hits there. I took a 5-hit combo, just because I wanted to spice things up. You know, this was my last fight of the war. Quake was like, what am I doing at 97% health this whole war? Do you mind just losing like a little bit of health so I can feel alive? And I'm like, sure. So I did. But yeah, we had a really nice war. We only died 6 times against PBT, which is of course tying our record that we got last season. And I got number 1 MVP, which is cool, with 10 fights. 10 fights is, of course, really nice to take, but it's very rare that I can take them. Of course, the fact that it was not stubborn really helped out, because that's 3 more fights right there with Quake that normally wouldn't get quaked. But we did take home the victory against PBT, of course. The shards are looking really nice. We're building ourselves up for those featured crystals. But currently we're sitting in Master Rank 10, which is 13th in the world. But here are our stats. So after this, our alliance is going to be 5-3, and I'm going to have 2 deaths still on the season. That last war is still haunting me. Our PSR is 58 out of 59, which is, of course, 98%, 98.3. I don't actually know if I'll get up to 99% this season, just because that's very, very difficult. But I'll do my best to improve it. And since I, of course, died, my last death was the last fight of last war. Then it's just whatever I took this war, which was 10 fights, is our Deathless Streak. But that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.